How will Kim Jong Un travel to meet with Donald Trump? The location of next month's meeting is still to be decided. The Washington Post speculates that North Korean leader Kim Jong Un and U.S. President Donald Trump's meeting may take place in the Korean demilitarized zone. Switzerland, Sweden, Russia, and China were also posited, as was the U.S. itself. But it is not clear if the North has the transportation capable of getting there. Analysts told the Post that North Korea has an old Soviet jetliner. This plane from the 1960s has a wingspan of 43 meters, is 53 meters long, and 12 meters tall. It can fly up to 5,400 miles, meaning it could reach Hawaii or the U.S. West Coast if leaving from Pyongyang. Unconfirmed reports last month put Kim in China, saying he got there via an armored green train. If true, he could also travel by rail to a European venue, via Moscow, or to a spot in Russia itself. Another way is for Kim to travel with a shorter distance Air Koryo Tupolev jet. Analysts say Kim could also borrow an aircraft from one of North Korea's neighbors, or travel with South Korea or Sweden. However, the Post reports these options could be embarrassing for the North Korean leader. How do you think the meeting will happen? Here's more on Trump and Kim.
How would the U.S. military fight North Korea? As tensions continue to mount on the Korean peninsula with no side backing down, the U.S. has threatened a massive military response to any potential North Korean nuclear attack. But what would that look like? The U.S. would likely deploy large groups of its Navy and Air Force to Japan, Okinawa, and Guam to bolster military presence there. A Stratfor analyst told Business Insider that they'd also possibly maneuver submarines and ships closer to the north and target nuclear facilities through airstrikes. Helicopter-deployed buoys would listen for North Korean submarines, which could then be destroyed by more advanced American underwater craft. Experts reckon the U.S. would not invade, but rather defend South Korea as the North Korean army charges the border. This scenario would also see U.S. Special Forces parachuting into strategic locations around Pyongyang for surgical strikes. If, in the extremely unlikely scenario, North Korea strikes Guam or another U.S. territory or ally with a nuclear strike, the U.S. has the option to respond via land, sea, or air. Most agree that the resulting American retaliation would lay waste to Pyongyang and kill thousands, if not millions. Or, Kim Jong Un and Donald Trump could just simply step into the octagon and see what happens. U.S. to put missile defenses to the test. It used to be the more Kim Jong Un ran his mouth about raining nuclear Armageddon down on the U.S. and her allies, the dumber he looked. Except now, Washington is taking the plump dictator seriously, and more specifically, the Pentagon is testing U.S. defenses for a North Korean attack. In May 2017, the military will run 2 weapon systems through a simulated North Korean missile launch against the U.S. mainland. The first test will see a U.S. Navy vessel launch an upgraded Standard missile somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. This baby comes equipped with an enhanced warhead and booster, basically meaning it can travel much farther than previous models. The idea here is to see if this new missile can shoot down a North Korean missile soon after deployment. The second test, reportedly scheduled for late May, is arguably much more important. This will see ground-based interceptor missiles fired into the Pacific from bases in California and Alaska. Their mission? Take out an incoming North Korean ICBM before it reaches the U.S. The problem with this system is that it's only been half successful in past tests. Sound concerning? The Pentagon seems to think so. In a recent report, they said they had limited defense capability against simple missile threats from Pyongyang and Iran. In other words, if the Ayatollah, Mr. Un, or another supervillain decides to go nuclear, there's a slight chance part of the U.S. could be toast.
Kim gets chemical. This subhuman has chemistry that's got Asia and the U.S. on edge. Reportedly, the Welephant now has his goons loading anthrax onto intercontinental kabooms. Who knew he was a fan? He certainly doesn't look like your average metalhead. The North reportedly holds 5,000 tons of the garbage and other nasty stuff in stockpiles. 5,000 tons, huh? Somebody's overcompensating. Traditionally, ICBMs are supposed to go like this. But almost always, the Norths go like this. That's right, Kimmy. Projectile dysfunction is a wider problem than believed. But if you want to man up, you could drop gloves with the commander in derp in the octagon. It might not go the way you think. Meet Joseph Pwag, Kim Jong Un's 90s alter ego. North Korean megabelly Kim Jong Un and his dictator daddy-o Kim Jong Il reportedly traveled on Brazilian passports during the 1990s. Fats traversed the globe as one Joseph Pwag, while Il meandered the world as Lee Chong-choi. According to Reuters, the Brazilian passports were authentic, but the IDs, not so much. Apparently, Joseph and Lee Chong traveled all over in the 1990s from Hong Kong to Brazil. Word is they both took some time for R&R in Tokyo, too. Trouble with that is the land of the rising sun is an age-old enemy of the DPRK. It's unknown how the Kims obtained the documents, but Brazil's foreign ministry is on the case. Wonder if they ever swung by Manhattan, to catch all that awesome real estate.